Hello students, in this video we'll be covering about menu-driven program. As you know, menu-driven program is a type of programming question that comes in section B of your ICSE computer application question paper. So let us know in detail about it. How can we do menu-driven program? All the menu-driven program is coded using switch case. We can write this type of program in two ways. The first way is you write the whole program in switch case branches, or else you can create separate methods and call those methods from the switch case branch. Both the ways we'll be covering in this video. Let's solve few questions based on menu-driven program. The first question is write a program to create a menu for area of different shapes. Different shapes are circle, rectangle, square, and triangle, and ask the user to calculate the area for whichever shape he wants. We'll be using switch case statement over here. So how to do it? First, you need to import the scanner class, then declare the class as public, then add the void main function. Then using system.out.println function, you prompt a message to the user that what are the different choices and which is the value or the which is the choice he wants to choose. As per that, the area will be displayed. Then you declare in as a scanner object. Then take input and save it in variables. The inputs will be the radius of the circle, the length and breadth of the rectangle, the side of the square. Then add a switch statement. In the respective case block, add the formula and calculate the area as per the choice. Win the area of that particular shape that the user has selected and display it with the help of system.out.println function. How does it work? The user enters the choice and then necessary inputs. Then the conditional statement decides the formula and calculates the area and prints it. Let's solve the program practically. To save time, I have already written down the program. You can see over here. The first line is import java.util.scanner. As we know, we need to import the class scanner to create objects of the scanner class. Then we have declared a class named menu area in this line. Then we start with the opening parenthesis of the class block. Then we have the second line, that is public static void main string args. As you know, public is an access specifier. Then we have the static keyword. We are declaring the main method to be static so that JVM can directly call the main method without creating any objects. Then we have the void. It is a return type as the function will not return any value. So the main function is declared as void, and main, the name as it suggests that it is the starting of the program. Then we have within brackets string args. String args is a string type array, and it is also called as your command line argument. We use it so that all the values passed to the main function is in string format, which is further converted to primitive data type using the wrapper class. That you will be doing in some other topic. We'll be doing it later on. Then this is the starting parenthesis of the method block, the main method block. We have declared variables a, b, and area of double data type. Here a, b can store the values of length and breadth of the rectangle or the side of the square or the radius of the circle. Then we are having the area variable to store the calculated area of that particular shape that we have selected. Character ch variable we have taken to store the choice of the user. Then we write over here the next line, scanner in equals to new scanner system.in. As you know, scanner class in Java util package, we are using it to obtain input of the primitive types like int, double, etc. Then it is used to create an object of the scanner class, and it is usually passed the predefined object system.in. Okay, so we are prompting to the user that C is for circle. All these messages are passed within system.out.println function. S is the choice for square, R is the choice for rectangle, T is the choice for triangle. Then we store in ch variable the choice of the user. Then we are switching, it means we are sending the variable ch to be evaluated. If the case is C, then you prompt to the user that user needs to enter the radius. The radius will be stored in the variable A. This is the line or the syntax to store and to convert the value entered by the user into a double type of value. Then the formula to calculate the area of the circle. We need to have the break statement, because the break statement, then it will end the case over here and bring the control of execution outside the switch case. Then we have the second case, that is for square. You prompt the user to enter the side value, which is stored in variable A. Then you have to calculate it in this line. Then we have again the break statement. Every case will have a break, so that once the calculation has been done, the control of execution will come out of the switch block. Then we have the third case, that is for rectangle. Here we'll be accepting two values, that is the length and breadth, in variable A and B respectively. Then we calculate the area, then again the break statement. Then the fourth case is for triangle. Here you accept the base and height of the triangle, the formula to calculate the area, then the break statement. The default statement is very essential. If the user has not given any of the four choices, then it has to prompt to the user that it's an error, because those four choices, C is for circle, S is for square, R is for rectangle, and T is for triangle. If outside that he gives any other choice, then it has to prompt to the user error. So you need to have a default statement. So once any of the cases has been executed and the break statement comes, then it will bring the control of execution out of the switch block to this line where as per the choice we will print the area. Then we are closing the method block and the class block. This program is already compiled. If we compile it once again, you can see here below it shows class compiled, no syntax error. So let us see the output. We will directly, no need of creating objects. Since static had been declared, directly we can click over here and we click on OK. Now we will enter a choice. Let's say I will enter S. So it will ask me for the side of the square. I give it as 5. The output is 25.0. Now let us again give a wrong choice and see the output. I enter Y, it will show me an error, that it's an error because the choice is not matching. The next question we have is write a program, Java program to print series 0, 3, 8, 15, 24 till the nth term, and or else another series is 1 by 2 plus 3 by 4 plus 5 by 6, and it goes on till 19 by 20. With the help of menu, that is using switch case, we have to solve this program. So let us solve it. This program also I have done beforehand. Now as you can see, the first line, import.java.io.asterisk, I am writing over here because I am using another like scanner class. You can also use integer.parseInt. Both the types are accepted in ICC. You can either write scanner class or you can write integer.parseInt. Both have the same thing. They here like we are importing the IO package. In the same way, we can create objects of the IO package and then we can use it to accept, convert values into the primitive data type. Here the class name is menu series. Like scanner class, here we are creating object of input stream reader so that we can accept values. This is the syntax. Then the variables we are taking over here, choice of the user in character data type. Then we have n and I, two variables of integer data type, and double to store the series. We are taking a variable s of double data type. Then we are entering a number, prompting the user to enter a number, any number, because in the series, in the first series, it has to go till the nth term. So we prompt to the user, then the value that we have accepted n, we can show it like you were writing over there, you were creating an object. Now whichever is convenient for you, the scanner class or the input stream reader, whichever is convenient for you, you can use any of the methods to accept value from the user. I have done program in both the methods so that whichever is convenient, you can opt for that. So the over here we prompt to the user that if A is for the series 0, 3, 8, 15, 24, and B is for the series 1 by 2 plus 3 by 4, which will go until 19 till 20. You prompt to the user that what is his choice, and it is stored in the variable choice. Then we switch the choice. Now over here you can see I've taken both. In the previous program I had taken only capital small s, small r, small c, small t, but over here you can write both the cases. Like if the user gives in capital letters also, it's okay. If it gives in small letter also, it is okay. Now as you know, the formula of the series is square of the natural numbers minus 1. Like if it is 1 minus 1, it will come 0. If it is 2 square, that is 4 minus 1, will come the next number 3. Then the next number is 3, natural number is 3, square of it is 9 minus 1, 8, and it so goes on till the nth term. That is why I have taken for loop from I equals to 1 till I less than equals to n. And here, as per the formula, I have taken square of the number minus 1. Once this case is complete, again we write the break statement so that it will come out of the case loop as well as the switch block. Then we have the second option, that is capital B and small b for the second series, where it is that the series goes on 1 by 2, 3 by 4. So we are stepping over here with a value of 2 because 1, 3, if you see the numerators, they are at a value difference of 2. So I'm stepping by a value of 2 over here and it goes on till 20. Double I'm taking I minus 1 because the denominator and the numerator difference is 1. So we have taken numerator I minus 1 where I is the denominator. Then I'm printing the series over here because it asks for the sum of the series. That is why I'm printing the sum out of the for loop. Then we break. So once it ends, it will automatically break and come out of the switch block. If the user has not given any of the choices, then the default case will be executed. That is, it will prompt to the user that it's a wrong choice. So I had compiled it. I'll compile it once again, which shows class compile, no syntax error. So we close the program. We'll run the program once. Over here, you can select a number, that is, I can give, let's say till 20. Then it is asking what is the series I want to choose for. Let's say I choose for series A. Now here you can see I have given small letter A. It will print me all the 20 numbers that is in the series of square of the number minus 1. So till 20th square, as you know, the beginning is 1 square minus 1 is 0. Then it is 2 square minus 1 3, 3 square minus 1 8, 4 square minus 1 15, 5 square minus 1 25. It goes on till 20th number. So 20 square is 400 minus 1 is 399. We'll close it. Again, if you want, we'll run it. Okay. We'll run the program once again to see. Suppose I give the series as 9 and I give my choice as B. It will go till 20. It will remain the same all the time because it doesn't affect. I have entered n over here, but it will not affect because already it is predefined that it will go till 19 by 20. So I'll close it. We go for the third question. The third question is a formatting question where we need to have two kinds of format depending upon the choice of the user. Like for the, if the user gives 1, then the format will be in the ascending order. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the user gives true, then it will be in descending order. That is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. Now this program also I have done. So we'll see. Here there is no need of accepting any value from the user. Okay, here we need to accept the choice of the user. For that, we have mentioned over here util. We'll be using the scanner class over here. You need to remember whenever scanner is in the util package and input stream reader is in the IO package. So when I'm using scanner class, I need to import the util package. So over here, this is the second kind of method, like second way of doing menu driven program. That is, I'll be doing this program with the help of functions. So in this program, I declare the name of the class as menu pattern. Then I have format 1. This is the function to find the first format, that is the ascending order number. So I have taken, I will start from 1 till 5 and I will go till 1 till the value of I, because when I is 1, then j will go till 1. When I will become 2, j will go from 1 till 2, that is 1 and 2. When I will become 3, j will go 1, 2 and 3. When I will become 4, j will go 1, 2, 3, 4. When I will become 5, it will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. System.out.print I'm writing over here so that within the j loop, it will be printed in a single line. Once the j loop is over, the cursor comes to the second line. This will be covering in the, when we'll be doing formatting question, we'll be doing in detail in that video. So next we come to the second format. Second format is descending order. That is why I is going from, the value of I goes from 5 till 1. So I'm using a decrement operator over here, I minus minus. Then the j loop will go from I till the value of 1. That is when I will be 5, it will go from 5 till 1. That is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here also I use a decrement operator. When I becomes 4, it becomes 4, 3, 2, 1. When I becomes 3, it becomes 3, 2, 1. When I becomes 2, it becomes 2, 1 and then 1. Same thing in the j loop, it will be printed in a single line. So I don't use println, I'm printing j. And then outside the j loop, I write system.out.println to bring the cursor to the next line. You can see I have written two functions over here. Format 1 function is for the first format. Format 2 is for the second format. Two functions I have used now. As you know, main is always the main method which will be first called. Whether it is written in the beginning or in the ending, the main method will be first executed, then the other methods will be called. So within the main method, I am declaring scanner object, prompting to the user that one is for enter one for the first format. Now, as you know, this is written, it's an escape sequence, so that the values come to the next line instead of writing it in separate different lines. If you write escape sequence, automatically the values will come to a new line. Same thing, I'm prompting to the user for the second format also. Then I'm prompting the user for his choice, storing the choice in the integer variable. Here we are having a choice in integer type 1 or 2. That is why I'm using an integer data type. Then I'm switching the choice. Over here you can see, instead of writing the formula within the case, I'm calling the method. If it is choice 1, then format 1 method is being invoked. If it is case 2, then choice 2, then the format 2 method is being invoked. So automatically the control will go when from the main function to the called function, be it format 1 or format 2. Then the execution will be done over there. The values will be printed. Then it will come back, break. It will move the control of execution outside the switch block. If none of the cases are there, then the default statement will be executed, prompting to the user invalid choice. Then we are ending over here the switch block, the main method block, and this is the end of the class. Again, the same thing, will compile the program, no errors. Now let's see practically. Here I had not mentioned static. If you remember, in the main method, I have not mentioned the keyword static. For that reason, I need to create an object. So you understand the difference between declaring static in the main method. So when you declare static in the main method, automatically JVM calls the main method without creating objects. But without static, you need to create an object. I'm creating an object over here of the menu pattern class. I'll be calling the main method. You need to call the main method, and then I give over here the parenthesis. Then it is prompting to me that enter 1 for the first format, enter 2 for the second format. Suppose I enter 2. It shows to me the second format. Let's again run the output. So I enter the choice 1, the first method comes. I enter an invalid value, let's say 8, which is one of the choices prompted to me. The output will be invalid choice. Now the next question that we'll be solving is write a Java menu-driven program to find composite number and smallest digit search. Now what's a composite number? It's a positive integer that has at least one divisor other than 1 and itself. That means a number that is not prime is a composite number. For example, the integer 14 is a composite number because it is a product of two smaller integers, 2 into 7. So the factors will be 1, 2, 7, and 14. So it's a composite number. Now smallest digit, checking for the smallest digit among all the digits present in a number. For example, in a number 5, 4, 8, 9, the digits are 5, 4, 8, and 9. And among them, the smallest digit is 4. Now you need to remember, a number is a collection of digits. So you need to extract one digit and check for the smallest digit. This program also I have done it. Just run through it. And this program, as you can see from the beginning, I'll be using input stream builder. It's your choice. This program you can also do using the scanner class. So instead of IO, you need to write util, and then in place of input stream builder, you have to write the scanner class. both the type of input stream reader. Some programs are done using input stream reader, some programs are done using scanner class. You can do in the program as per your choice. Here the class name is menu. Here the first line main method has been declared. Then I write over here input stream reader to create object br so that we can accept value and then convert it here. The wrapper class is integer. When we accept a value, we convert it to the integer data type using the wrapper class integer. Here the variables we have taken is n, count, ch, small, ai. They are for different purpose. As we will be doing the program, we'll get to know about them. Then we prompt to the user that choice 1 is for composite number, choice 2 is for smallest digit. Then you need to prompt to the user to enter his choice. Store the choice. Here again, the choice is of integer data type. Here we are doing within the switch block, we will be doing the solving the program. Here we have not created any methods. So directly within the case block, we are writing the entire logic of composite number. Count variable is a variable to count the number of factors the number has. So first we need to prompt to the user that enter the number that he wants to be checked for composite number, store it in variable n, the value that is accepted. Then we need to, this is the logic for checking for composite number. You take all the factors right from 2 till n by 2. It is being taken n by 2 because if the number, suppose it's 14, so half of it is 7. So within that we will check if other than 1 and between 7, half of the number, if we have any factor, then it's a composite number. So we are starting from 2. If n mod I equals to 0 is a check to check for the factors. If any factor is there, then it will definitely the counter will increase by 1 value for every factor. So we check over here if the counter has increased anything more than 0, then it's a composite number because I've not included 1 over here. So apart from 1, within the half of the number, if any factor is there, then it's a composite number. Like for example, 14. In case of 14, suppose I take over here n equals to 14. So my I have taken from 2. It will go till n by 2. That is 14 by 2 will be 7. So if 14 has any factor between 2 to 7, as we know 14 has the factor that is 2 and 7. So over here for 2, the count will become increased to 1, and when we come across 7, then the count will increase to 2. So now since the counter is 2, so it will check 2 is greater than 0. So the entire number is composite number. I'll delete this part. So this is the logic for the composite number. Once it is done, then we put the break statement. It will bring the control as we already know that break will bring the controls executions control outside the switch loop. Then we come for the smallest digit. Here this is the logic for smallest digit. First you need to prompt to the user to enter a number. Now when the user enters a number, store it in variable n. Now I have taken small equals to 99 because this is the number I have taken. For example, if it is anything less than 99, so first I'll check for while n not equals to 0. This is logic. Let's solve it like practically. We'll see it. Suppose I write over here. We had taken a number. Let's say I'll take 437. So over here, first we'll get A A will have 437 modulus 10. So it will have the value 7. So it will be checked. Now the next checking we have that whether a, that is a number 7, is it less than 99. I've taken the biggest number, that is 99, that is why I had taken. In fact, it is less than, obviously 7 is less than 99. So the value within small will be 7. After that we come out, n will become now, n will become 437 divided by 10. So n becomes now 43. So next n checking will be 43 is not equals to 0. So we'll have the next value of a, that is a will now become 43 modulus 10, which will give you the value 3. Next checking will be, now the value in a is 3 and the value in small is 7. So is 3 less than 7? Yes. So the value in small will become 3. And next we have n will become 43 by 10, that will give you 4. So we have over here now 4. So the checking will be now 4, a equals to 4 modulus 10, so it will give the number itself 4. So we'll be having now in a the variable 4 is there, and in the variable small 3 is there. So 4 is less than 3? No. So nothing, no change in the variable small. So now it comes out 4 divided by 10 will give me 0. So it will come automatically out of my while loop, because while n is not equals to 0. I'll delete all these lines. So now as you can see, in the variable small the value 3 is stored. So the digits we extracted were 437 and the smallest digit we got was 3. We'll remove these lines as this is not part of the execution. So in variable small we have the value 3. So system.out.println smallest number. Okay, we'll correct it. It's actually digit. Smallest digit is small. So whichever value is there in small, that will be printed. Then it will break statement we are mentioning, so that it will come out of the switch block as well as the case block and the switch block. Default as usual. If none of the choices are matched, then the default choice will be executed. Then we compile it. Again, no error is there. So let's check the program. Now here I had mentioned static, so automatically the main method is being invoked. So let's check for a composite number. Let's say we can have a number, say 19. Let's check. It's a composite number? No, it's a wrong choice. Sorry. Over here we needed to prompt the choice. I had given 19, that is why it gave me wrong choice and invalid choice. So over here I enter my choice, say 1. I give my number as 19. Now 19 entered number is a composite number. Yeah, by mistake in both the while printing I have mentioned over here composite number. It should be not composite number. We'll compile it once again. So we'll write over here choice is 1. The same number 19, I'll give it once again. Now it shows entered number is not composite number. Now we will go for the fifth question. The fifth question is similar kind of question that we had done just now, but now we'll be doing it using a method. The fourth question we had done using the first way, that is directly within the switch cases only we were doing the calculation. Now the fifth question we'll be doing using methods again. This program already I have done also. So we'll directly see to the program. Here is my program. I'll open the editor. Here I'm using scanner class. That is why I have mentioned import java.util.scanner. Class name is menu prime auto. As you can see, this is a function to check for prime number. If it's a prime number, it will give a boolean output. Yeah, that is why the return type is boolean. In the formatting question, if you remember, there was no output. There was no output returned. That is why the return type was void. But over here, I'll be returning a value. So I have mentioned the return type as boolean. The name of the function is prime, where I'm passing a variable, a number in the variable n, and it will be checked over here. Same way, I'll take all the numbers between 2 to n. Like in prime number, you know, the number is divisible by 1 and the number itself. So I have taken 2. That means I have not included 1, and less than n. That means I have not included the number itself. So anywhere, if it is divisible by any factor, then it will return immediately false. Else, if between 2 to that 2 and between 2 and less than n, that is before that number, the number before that number, so it will return true if there is no factors. Same way for automorphic number also, I'm returning a boolean result. Automorphic number, as you know, a number that is present at the end of its square is called as an automorphic number. In this part, I am counting the number of digits, the user, the number that is entered, like 25 has 2 digits, 2 and 5. So I will make it square, calculate it square, and then I'm dividing from the number to the power that is y. Like for example, 25, we will do a dry run over here to see. Suppose my number I'm storing in P, because that number will become 0 eventually. That is why in P I will show the number 25. So 25 not equals to 0. As you know, that means first I'll increase C to 1. I mentioned C equals to 1. That means for the timing it has a digit. So P will become 25 by 10, giving me 2 only. Next we have 2 not equals to 0. So C automatically increases to 2. Then P will become 2 by 10, that will give you 0. So it will come out of the while loop. So we get to know that the number has 2 digits, C. So over here, the square of that number, as you know, 25 square is 625. Modulus, I'm doing 10 to the power C. 10 to the power C means 100. So it will automatically give me the last 2 digit, that is 25. So I am checking over here. If the number n is the number, that is 25 equals to LD. That means here I have already got that number, you can see 25. So if both are matching, then it's an automorphic number. Let's check any other number. Let's say we take the number to be 12. So square of the number will become square. Let's say the square will become 144. So over here we take it as 12. C will be 1. P will become 12. So the remaining quotient will be 1. So for the next number, same way it will become 1 not equals to 0. C will become 2. So we get to know 12 also has 2 digits. So C is 2. So over here now the square of 12 was 144. So the remainder will be 44. Modulus is used to find the remainder. Now here we see that 44 is not equals to 12. That means the original number. So it will return false. Will it delete this part? Then we come to the main method. Here I have not mentioned static. So I need to create an object of this function. So here scanner class is used. Then I'm prompting to the user to enter 1 for prime number, 2 for automorphic number, storing the choice because it's an integer kind of choice, 1 or 2. So integer choice variable is of data type integer. Then I accept a number, the number that has to be checked whether prime or automorphic. Then within switch choice, if case 1, boolean prime because the return type of prime function is also a boolean type. So in prime variable, here prime is a variable which will show the output. Is prime, over here the function is prime is being called. Is prime function that you have over here is being called, and over here this is the method calling statement. Then if prime, now I have written only prime because the output will be true or false. If it is true, then this statement will be executed. If it is false, then this statement will be executed. So here I don't need to write any expression because already based on true or false, because the no evaluation is required, because based on true and false, automatically if will do the checking. If it will be true, then this part, otherwise else will be used. Then the break statement to bring it out of the case loop, case block and the switch block. Same way, if it's case true, automorphic, it will return a boolean kind of result, that is true or false. This is the method called is automorphic. You pass the number, then this function is called. This function is being called then. So automatically after evaluation, same way, it will give you a boolean result, true or false. So depending upon the condition, true or false, this line will be implemented or else part will be implemented. Then you have the default statement. As usual, if none of the choices are matching, like instead of 1 and 2, the user gives any other choice, and the default will be implemented, which will show invalid choice. I'll compile it. Same way it shows class compile, no syntax error. I'll close it. We'll run the program. Here I have not given static, so I need to create an object. If you write static in the main method, then you don't have to create object. JVM will automatically call the main function. It will be invoked. Then it asks 1 is for prime number, 2 is for automorphic number. Suppose I give my choice 2 and I enter my number to be 13. Then it will print 13 is not an automorphic number. Again, we'll check, let's say for object, I enter my choice to be 1, enter the number to be 34. 34 is not a prime number. And if I give a non-valid choice, that let's say 6, it will ask me a number even though it will show me invalid choice. So these were your programs about menu driven. In the last program, we'll just go through the algorithm. How to do the last program using a function, how to do import the scanner class, declare the class as public, add a function named isPrime with return type boolean, which will check whether the number is prime or not and return true or false. Then we are adding a function named isAutomorphic with return type boolean, which will check whether the number is automorphic or not and return true or false. Then we are adding the world main function, then prompting the user to using system.out.println function, prompting the user the choices, declare the scanner class, take the input and save it in variable. Like we have taken the input as the choice and the number, what we have taken as input, then add a switch statement. Within the switch statement, call the isPrime function and the isAutomorphic function for the respective cases. Case 1 will call isPrime, case 2 will call isAutomorphic. Then we accept the system.out.println function to print the result as per the return value. So how does it work? You enter the choice, you enter the necessary input, the conditional statement decides the function is prime or is automorphic. That has to be called as per the function call. First choice will call is prime, second function will call is automorphic, and then the result will be printed. So this is all about menu driven program. In this program you learn the two ways of programming. That is, we did few questions using uh, in the program itself, the switch case we're having, it was branching, and within the program the logic was there of evaluating and printing. But another way we had, it was we created separate methods, and within the switch case branch we call those methods. The first question we did using the first way, that is within the case branch only the calculation of area was done. And the second question also within the case branch, the series were checked, were evaluated. The third question we did using the formats. Format 1, format 2 methods were used. The fourth question we did within the switch case branch only the evaluation was done. And the fifth question again we used two methods, that was the isPrime method and the isAutomorphic method. I hope you are clear with this concept of switch case menu driven programs. Thank you.